Hello. If you're a trans woman like me, how would you feel if I told you that there was a way you could take your HRT that would make you happier, healthier, and have a better transition? Well, welcome to the right video for you, because this is all about how to sync your transgender hormone replacement therapy cycle to the moon. Not many people know about using moon cycles for HRT. Although there are many videos out there for cis women, I wanted to bring one out for trans women. If you, like me, follow a hormone regimen modeled after a premenopausal cis woman, please consult with your doctor before making any changes to your hormones. I recommend working with an endocrinologist who will get you regular blood work done, sample your levels, and make sure you're staying on target. Hopefully you can find an endocrinologist who specializes in sex hormones, although many other endocrinologists should be fine. I'm not a doctor or a medical professional, and none of this is medical advice. This is all based on my own personal experience and the choices I've made with my own endocrinology. Please take this as advice from a sister who has gone through the path and wants to share her knowledge with you. Using moon cycles, a trans woman can manage their hormones to simulate a cis woman's menstrual cycle. I have been using lunar phases to manage my hormone cycles for years, with great success. Like most cis women, my period has shifted over the years, from red moon to white moon or back to red moon, depending on what's going on in my life at the time. As this information is my personal experience, it is not scientifically proven, but it is my own experience. Most, if not all, protocols by WPATH and AMA doctors, while well-meaning, do not adequately model a woman's hormone cycle throughout the month. And they tend to follow more of a consistent, every day is the same model, like a solar day cycle. The solar day cycle is a classic masculine cycle, whereas women's cycles tend to follow the 29.5-day approximate cycle of the moon. Because the medical industry does not track trans outcomes very well, finding good scientific studies on this has been very difficult, if not impossible. There are many videos out there for cis women moon cycles, but not many for trans women moon cycles. And I wanted to make one for my sisters to let them know that this ancient path of womanhood is available to them. I have not seen many doctors promote this, and while this is not medical advice, I do note that it seems like most of the medical industry is designed by men for men to serve men's needs. If we're going to discuss hormone replacement therapy for trans women, it's important to discuss hormones. Estrogen comes in 3 forms endogenously, although most trans women only take estradiol, usually in pill form dissolved into the tongue. It can also be available in an injectable format as depo-estradiol. Depo-estradiol is modified from the endogenous estradiol slightly so that it can stay in the liver and be time-released. In a best-case scenario, one may find a compounding pharmacy that could blend all the 3 endogenous estrogens together in the appropriate correlation, following, of course, the prescription of your doctor. Progesterone can be very helpful for increasing the speed of an HRT, in my opinion. It's often used in capsule form as micronized progesterone, or also as an injectable. I have not heard of many doctors using cycled progesterone, although I have heard of the University of California, San Francisco using this in a protocol. The study I've seen from the National Institute of Health on the effects of progesterone for increasing feminization in trans women was inconclusive, but I wonder if that was because they were not cycling the progesterone and were just using a steady dose. Since other women have covered trans women having periods, I will just note that it's important to know that pretty much all trans women will have a period of some sort throughout their cycle, even if their dosages do not change day by day. My experience with having a period began in 2009 when I started HRT. The endocrinologist I was working with at the time did not do any testing. He said it would be pointless to check the levels because women's own hormones vary so much throughout the day and throughout the month. Looking back on this, I just wonder if that was a masculine point of view, but I'm not the professional. So I did some investigating as to what normal levels would be like throughout the month. Using some reverse engineering, I was able to take a sample cycle and adjust my prescriptions throughout the month, first using a 28-day cycle and later a 29-day cycle to more accurately model the 29 and approximately 1/2 day lunar cycle. The moon cycle is not always exactly the same length. The moon asks you to be flexible with her, as like women, she does not always follow the same cycle. Menstruation has been associated with the moon since time immemorial. In most pre-industrialized societies, women's menstruation synchronized with the moon cycles. Cycles often followed a white moon, where ovulation was at the full moon, or a red moon, where menstruation was at the full moon. Industrialization and the invention of artificial light have made us less in tune with the cycles of the moon. Thus, many women have lost their synchronicity with the moon cycle. There are nearly as many menstrual cycles as there are women. I'm just using a couple of basic models. There is no wrong way or right way to have a cycle. The main thing is to be in touch with your body and to make sure what you're doing is right for you. I feel like it's essential to check in with your critical intuition, your body, the times you're in, possibly the astrological phases, and do what's right for you. Develop your own women's intuition. Again, this is not advice, this is just me on my own journey. Each phase of the cycle has its own period. I invite you to investigate each of these more. Each phase of the cycle has an experiential point of view as a woman experiences it. Proliferative is growing, introverted, practicing self-care, maybe starting new projects. Ovulation is shining brightly, being the nexus point, bringing people together, lighting the fire. Luteal phase and secretory are tending to your shoots, tending to your friends, advancing your projects, bringing things together. Menses is letting go, releasing, resting, so that you may begin again anew. To have a moon cycle, it's important to track the moon. I use an app to track the moon so that every day I know which day it is on the cycle of the moon, and I can use that in order to take my medications properly. The main point is to know where the moon is in relationship to your own hormone cycle, because when you're changing the levels at each point of a 29-day cycle, it's easy to get lost otherwise. The archetype of the white moon has fertility at the full moon and bleeding at the new moon. Early new moon days are slower, energy building as the moon waxes. The white moon has often been associated with nurturing and with being a mother. The archetype of the red moon is bleeding with the full moon and ovulating with the new moon. New moons are often a way to start new projects, start new things. As new moons are associated with new beginnings, this synchronizes the fertile state with the new moon. The red moon may be associated with women who are using their power for creative pursuits. For the hormone cycle, you can see that on the white moon, hormones stop at the 29th to first day transition. For the red moon, this happens on the day before the full moon. I feel it's important to check in with my body as we go through these significant phases of the moon and make sure you're still on the right cycle. Since as trans women we don't have all the same physical connections to the moon that cis women do, we have to use our psychic abilities to make up for the difference and use our intuition to make sure we are having that connection to the moon that we need in order to stay grounded and to stay on the right target. The better connected we are with our hearts and with the moon, the better we can manage our hormones. Syncing to a moon cycle has been very beneficial to me, and I feel like it's my duty to share this knowledge with my sisters. I feel better both physically and spiritually. The monthly issues I used to have with my periods are gone. My body development has happened much more easily, in a better pace. Following the changes of estradiol and progesterone over the cycle has allowed my breasts to have their own cycle with ebb and flow, which I feel like they were not able to get following a standard solar day cycle. It's so important for feminine cycles to be loved for their own characteristics and not to be forced into following a masculine cycle, especially when it comes to feminine hormones. Look in the description for a number of sources I have used with putting this video together, as well as a disclaimer. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'd also love to hear if you had had any experience cycling hormones yourself. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of other women doing this, and I still don't understand why that is. It just seems like, to me it seems obvious, but lots of things in life seem obvious that don't actually happen. So maybe you can join the conversation and we can chat about it. May your hormone balance be perfect. May the moon smile upon you. May you be fully blessed by her. You are blessed. You are loved. You are supported. You are beautiful. I love you. Aloha.